Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sarah Report. I'm your host, Devon Decker, and joining me, my host companion, it's Sejohn Sarowick. How you doing, Sejohn?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a weird weekend, Dev. I'm not gonna lie. We are here on the this 4th of July weekend, and having some weird feelings about the state of things right now. Wasn't quite sure how to celebrate the holiday and all of that.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. I was out. I kind of celebrated on the 3rd, and that's when everything happened. Like, I was kind of unaware of it, and then I woke up to see what terrors had been wrought as I was out at a local bar. It was like, we're doing a 3rd of July party, and then we're going to be closed till Tuesday. And I'm like, you know what? Good for you. I'm supporting that. I like that you're giving your people the weekend off. I like that you're celebrating still. But, yeah.
Who doesn't love a 3-day weekend?
Right? I've been enjoying this 3-day weekend. I'm not going to lie. And I think I'm one of the only people who'll be back in the office tomorrow. Because most people are like, yeah, I'm taking off the Monday too. And I'm like, oh, good. That's excellent. Because I don't want people in the office with me. Thank you. No offense
That's
to those.
my vacation.
And it doesn't even cost me a day. Speaking of coworkers, this will be a time. I finally got permission to give the name of the person who's been not sponsoring, but providing me with energy drinks for these episodes. And this week I was given a 0 sugar Monster Energy Ultra Fantasy Ruby Red by my coworker Kristen. I cannot read this. Hold on, vamp for a second while I turn on my overhead light, because I want to read this story.
Yeah, the sugar-free monsters are the poison of choice, as it were, out here in Utah, since coffee's kind of a no-go for a lot of people. Yeah. So that shit is everywhere. Like, every party, we just had the X Games in town, actually, and Monster was definitely there. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. The Salt Lake City X Games are wild, but I mean, it's not that they're anything different than the regular X Games. It's just everybody's extremely sober, which is something new for me at those.
That's the wrong way to X Game. I'm sorry. I don't know what they're giving them. What else is...
Technically, I guess I grew up on the Gravity games, so maybe I'm just kind of transposing some stuff, as it were.
There's a good point there. I mean, the X Games in 95.
A little out of it.
Remember when the X Games were in Providence in 95? The first year they were called the X Games? Because you're not wrong about the Gravity Games. I was there, and everybody was wasted. You're doing it wrong. Anyway, I've taken it out of my can holster. We're always dreaming new things. Sorry, I don't know what that voice was. We're always dreaming up new things at Monster, and sometimes we totally break convention. Enter Ultra Fantasy Ruby Red. It may be the best tasting Ultra yet. Not too sweet, not too tart. It's got a fresh citrus taste that'll blow your mind. While it's light and super easy drinking, it's satious on... what the hell? It's serious on performance. Ultra Fantasy is packed with all the legendary Monster Energy blend you've come to expect. We called our long... What the hell? We called our what the fuck is this? We called on longtime friend Pinky Taylor for design. OG fans remember seeing him do live paintings at Monster events as they rolled through town. We've got his painted surfboards and canvases hanging all over HQ. Now you've got your own Pinky masterpiece too. Unleash the Ultra Beast. If I had any shame, I would restart this episode. That felt like the worst thing I've ever done. What the...
Did you say breaks convention at the start there?
Yeah.
Like, in what ways does this break the convention? Is it milk-based? Like, what the hell does that mean?
I mean, it's got real grapefruit in it, I'd have to imagine. It doesn't taste like grapefruit. It tastes like Ultra Fantasy Ruby Red.
10% less chemicals. Break the convention.
I don't know. It's what's you and me. And Kristen also provided me the 2 watermelon Red Bulls from a couple of weeks ago. So thank you, Kristen, for keeping me caffeinated during these shows. I'm sorry, Sejohn.
No, you're good, man. Welcome to the party.
We've had a couple of weeks off, so you always kind of forget how to do this. And that's always weird. Like, I always feel weird about that part of it. This fan is too heavy. Yeah, okay. So...
You just forget how to be on microphone, right? You're just like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I need to... No, it's good. You know where we're going to start? We're going to start... So I said I went to that weird 3rd of July party. Had a blast. They were doing karaoke. I got a Powerball ticket for singing a patriotic song. But they started that promotion after I had sung my first song. So then by the time I came up in the rotation again, all that was left was Greatest American Hero theme song.
Oh.
So that's what I did. I got a Powerball ticket. I did not win. I was kind of hoping that I'd win the Powerball. Like, that seems like a Devon Decker adventure, right? Devon Decker goes out to karaoke, wins a Powerball ticket, and then becomes a millionaire. It did not happen.
I think the only thing that would make that story better is if you had done Fortunate Son while you were at karaoke.
Oh, that would have been pretty good. That would have been... I mean, like, also, I did, like, Harder Rock and Roll. I feel like that's a pretty patriotic song. They named, like, the entire United States in that. So, what are you going to do? But because I went to this bar, I did what I usually do. But I haven't been to this place since May. And that's because, like, the people that I usually go to with are not around. And also... You know, we were busy in May doing Brendan Fraser month, and then June got real busy at, like, real work. So, like, I just had, like, I have this time. I just got paid. Let's do it. So there's this other thing I do when I'm going to this particular bar, and that's stop at the Popeyes right near work to get Popeyes chicken.
Popeyes chicken fucking rules.
Popeyes chicken is the shiznit. There's an Adam Sandler Cinematic Universe coming up this Friday. This seems like the best time to remind people of that. It's Punch Drunk Love. But so I stopped at the Popeyes, and the first time I went to this Popeyes, I gave them a Devon Decker when they asked me who the order was under. And the place went nuts. Come to find out that, I don't know if it's all Popeyes, but this Popeyes, they don't just play the drive-through audio through the earphone of the person you're talking to. They play it through the entire kitchen.
Nice. Yeah, well, I'll be honest. Popeyes as a franchise, I actually just had this conversation this week, so it's relevant. Popeyes as a franchise is a roll of the dice. I have never been in more varying experiences of a fast food restaurant, which kind of the whole point of the fast food franchise is that it's supposed to be as tightly controlled as the next, it's not Disney World, but at the same time, you know what you're going to get when you walk into a McDonald's. You have a basic idea of what the layout's going to be, what the foods they're going to offer, and what the service is going to be like, right? Popeyes eschews all that fucking shit, right? I would say that Taco Bell kind of does too, but Taco Bell is pretty much across the board just high teenagers, so you kind of are getting the same experience that everyone. It's just not an ideal situation. Popeyes, I have been in some of the worst fast food joints in my life that were Popeyes chicken. On the other hand, there's been a couple of Popeyes chickens I have been in that have been like pristine. So I could not freaking tell you like where the bar is for Popeyes.
Yeah. As long as it kind of looks like the French Quarter in New Orleans on the outside, they don't really care. And they've actually started discontinuing that to have a more soulless, sanitized exterior.
Yeah, but then as far as the inside goes, you're never sure what you're going to get, and the fact that they were broadcasting everybody's food order to the entire restaurant sounds pretty on par with most of the Popeyes I've
Well, I mean, like, I think about it, and on some level, that makes sense, because then the people who are cooking the food, they don't have to, like, wait to hear it. They're hearing the order at the same time. But yeah, so it broadcast to the whole restaurant, me doing that. And they're losing their shit. They're like, come up here. The one guy's like, Leroy Jenkins got nothing on you. Devon Decker's the original Leroy Jenkins, which I don't feel that way. That just was like the thing that he said. And then a manager came over and like we had this long conversation. Needless to say, now I kind of feel like when I go to this Popeyes, I got to do it. In fact, one time I went there and I said, I'm picking up an order for Devon. And they're like, I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you. Could you repeat that, please? And I'm like, I said order for Devon. And they're like, no, you got to do it the right way, Dad. So they made me do it. So this time I went there. I haven't been there in 2 months as well. And I did the Devon Decker verse. And the response from the guy taking the order goes, where the hell have you been? And I've never been cussed at. And I know that hell is like low level cussing, but I've never been cussed at the drive-thru.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But I'm just like, man, like May's my busy month, and then it somehow rolled into June. He's like, dude, I get that. Because this guy also has told me his life story about how he's trying to start a business. So, like, he goes real hard until he has to go to work, and then as soon as work's done, he rolls real hard, and then he tries to get, like, 4 hours of sleep if he's lucky. So it was just this interesting thing. But I really did like the whole, where the hell have you been?
Man.
I don't know. Where do you fall on that line? Like, that's the thing that I think about with some people where, like, there's a mutual person that we know who he got recognized. I should have said they. It's a he, right? So that slashes the group in way more than half because we don't interact with women. No, I'm kidding. He got recognized at his local McDonald's and he's like, well, I can never go there again. And I'm like, well, that's not how I do. I want to be recognized at the places that I go all the time because that's how you form long-lasting bonds and weirdly get good customer service. If you're just some jamoke who showed up, they're like, we can spit on his fries. Oh, it's Devon Decker? We'll put a little less spit on the fries today.
It's varying degrees, right? It really depends. If I walk into a place for like my 5th or 6th time and they recognize me, I do get some warm fuzzies about that, right? But, I never want to walk into a place for the first time and then have somebody in the back of the room go, Sejohn?
Right, well, that's different. That's somebody who knows you, right?
Exactly.
If it's the first time, that is very different. But you go and you build a rapport with the people who work there. I mean, that's what shopping used to be. I knew the people who came into Blockbuster. And also, I was wondering, how am I going to fit in this crazy occurrence that happened since we started doing it? There's a donut shop.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, say your I mean. I like it. I got to look up the donut shop's name.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, as two of the last true artists of the lost art of having a hometown bar, right? Like, there is something about going to a place and establishing that kind of relationship with like bartenders and stuff that is like part of that is just not going to be a thing anymore because people just aren't going to bars as frequently, or if they are, they're not going to local hometown ones, right? Like they're going to franchise bars and stuff, and those are rotating staff in a way. Although I will say one of my favorite bars to go to in town is the Texas Roadhouse, but like there is something to the idea of going to a bar, right? And like the bartender there's maybe 2 or 3 rotating bartenders, but in general you get to know, especially when you start going at a certain time every week because that's how it works for your schedule, you're probably lining up with one of their schedules too, so you really get to like know somebody because they're just always the bartender at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday, right? But like you get to know people when you're doing those things, and it makes things more comfortable, right? I used to have, when I was in Ohio, there was a place that me and the crew used to go to all the time, and in fact we had a lot of people that we were around, students that we were with, co-workers, peers and things like that would work there too, like kind of offhand, especially over the summers when classes weren't going on and stuff. So like there was a place that was like kind of like the third place, right? Have we talked about the concept of the third place on air? I know, or like that idea. No, like that idea that like as a human being, this is a
homework and the third place.
Yeah, right.
I just watched a video about
work,
this.
And then there needs to be a third place. There needs to be a place where you can get away from those two things. There needs to be a place where you feel comfortable being. When you think to yourself, man, I want to get out of the house, but I don't know where I want to go. That should be the third place. That should be the thing that you're looking forward to. It's a socialization concept, like, it's ways in which we feel like we're still part of the community and stuff. And there was a lot of stuff specifically written during COVID about the loss of the third place and things. But there's this idea that like we like just kind of we like feeling like we're safe somewhere, right? And part of that is the people that are getting to know you. People know your name.
Exactly. I'm going to stay on the third place thing because we're seeing them disappear again. which is creepy. I mean, not like around here, but like the local bar, how you mentioned that's leaving, right? Like that was a third place for a lot of people. But also the third place in COVID sort of became like you're shopping, like when you go out for groceries or just like to a store, because it's a different place that you're going, right?
Yeah,
but now
it says something, right, that we're talking about like capitalist-based establishments, one of which is based heavily on commoditizing your addiction to, right? Like, these are not necessarily healthy habits, which is part of the reason why it's going away, is that younger generations are frankly getting smarter. People want to talk shit about what's going on with the ways in which they're abandoning their culture or whatever fucking nonsense people want to say, but like, they're just not partaking in some of the shittier habits that we did. But in that, so much of American culture was built around those kinds of ideas. Like, yes, the bar was the third place for us because that's the kind of place we were raised, right? Like the unhealthy habits of our fathers, as it were.
Well, I mean, we think about that, but also, I mean, Cheers was this global phenomenon for 11 years, right? Yes, the first episode was the lowest rated episode that aired. But then it went on to be this behemoth running for 11 seasons, and it was formulative for us, right? Like, we each got about half of the run of Cheers. It was destination viewing, but now look at all the shows that they've tried to do that are set in bars. I think like 3 seasons is the most that any of them have received. I mean, I guess you have Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but that's really the excuse is the bar. They're not at the bar hanging out.
Right.
Yeah. And they're not patrons there. They own it, which I know Sam technically owned the bar for a lot of it, but we saw patrons. Like, you don't see patrons at Patty's. It's just like, that's the point. If there's somebody drinking there, you're like, oh, that's a problem, right? It's going to be a problem.
It always weirds me out. It always weirds me out on Always Sunny whenever they have a storyline that involves people coming to the bar. But there's always like a reason why it's happening, right? Like they invent like some excuse for why the bar suddenly gets popular for a hot second.
Yeah. Or when they're like, oh, we want to be part of the crawl. Like, Philadelphia has this pub crawl and Patty's wants to be part of it. And it's like, but you're that place must smell like just awful. But in terms of that, like, building a rapport, there's this place in town. It's called Master Homemade Donuts, which I don't love the name. I don't get it.
There's a lot going on with that name, but anyway.
Yeah. And it's donuts spelt in the Dunkin' Donuts way. Like, if it were maybe spelt the proper spelling, this will always piss me off. And I apologize for bringing this up if I've brought it up before, but it will. When we took a spelling test, do you remember how spelling was handled when you were in elementary school? Because I remember mine, and I didn't love it. But every week we had spelling and how spelling worked.
Sure, yeah, there was a lot of that whole repetitive stuff. I don't think that's anything that's gone away. I think they still do spelling tests at lower grades and stuff.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, but on Monday...
God, I hope.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so. But on Monday, we would do the list blind, right? So it's like 20 words every week. And here's the blind spelling test, and you see, how you can do. And if you pass that, then you're fucking golden. Then you can basically use spelling time as free time the rest of the week. And I had a pretty good vocabulary. So I came to rely on that. Especially because, Tuesday was write each word 3 times. Wednesday was use each word in a sentence. Thursday was create and then solve a word search using the vocabulary words. And then Friday was the actual test on the list.
You sound like you had a teacher that was putting in the work. Most of the shit for us was just like, you get a sticker if you use the word this week. Like a fucking Pee Wee Herman. Like, what's the secret word?
That's crazy. See, just said the secret word. It's secret word. But yeah, it's that's what it was. So I got used to passing on Monday because I had a pretty good vocabulary and stuff, and I understood phonetics and stuff. And this was probably 4th or 5th grade. It was the last time that they did it. And the one word was donut. And I know how to spell donut. I see donut every day. DONUT. But no, they wanted us to spell donut the non-corporate branding retail way of DOUGHNUT. And
that feels like they were purposely
that's a trap, right? That feels like a fucking trap. Yeah. And the fact that like some people got it right really pissed me off, because it's like, look, we grow up in this world where that is how donut is spelled. If the teacher doesn't tell us, like, do not use the spelling on Dunkin' Donuts, like, why would we even like that one? That still kind of gets under my skin in that term of, oh yeah, we stacked the deck against you. And that sucked, because then I had to do all those stupid things that I just said. Create a word search and then solve it. That's the dumbest thing. Like, I that still bothers me. Why
wouldn't you at least not solve each other's?
Right? Like, trade with somebody. Nope. Create a word search and then solve it. Like, and now I'm mad that, like, I actually did it, like, legitimate. Because what you would do is you'd write the word, circle it, and then build from there. Like, solve while you create. Don't solve it after the fact. Like, create the word search, run around in a spin around 30 times, and then try to solve it as fast as you can. Like, ridiculous. But that I always think about that, like, donut, and I'm like, oh yeah, DONUT. Like, that's easy. And then that was the only word I got wrong, like, in my entire time spelling. And
it's one of those things where, like, I feel like you gotta kind of like there is a. If I understand the word that you were putting down to be that, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like it's a. I'm trying to think of a good comparison. I guess it's like if I was teaching a kid to, like, what objects were, and I pointed to a tissue box and they said Kleenex, they'd still be right? Like,
I mean, that is name brand word association. A better thing would be
but there's a cultural understanding that is, if you were to say that in public, people would understand what you were saying. If you were to write donut down, DONUT, in enough places, you know what I mean?
I think more people would recognize donut, like, with the Dunkin' Donuts spelling than the other one. Than, like, the actual, like, language evolves, right? It just.
Oh man, I remember when we were in elementary school, ain't wasn't a word.
Oh, ain't's a word now. It's in the dictionary.
Right.
It's I don't know. I just think about that. Anyway, so Master Homemade Donuts. We've been going there on Sunday mornings. They do, like, nice bubble teas and things like that. And it's the only place I know in town to get a Long John. And they fill them, right? And that's what really makes a Long John. Otherwise, it's just a donut stick. So they do a maple filled.
You're talking about a skinny, long donut that is often filled with cream or jellies.
Yes, they do a maple frosted. I get it with the Boston cream. It's delicious. So last week we're not recording. So I'm like, hey Dale, do you want to run and get donuts? And she's like, yeah, we'll do that. And I'll just go. You don't need to come. You, like, enjoy your morning. It's like, that was nice. She goes, and she comes back with egg rolls. Egg rolls from the donut place. And I don't mean, like, bakery-style egg rolls. I mean...
like Secret Eclairs or something?
Nope,
like, or
savory Vietnamese-style egg rolls. And she's like, yeah, the owner, like, she's like, I've noticed you've been coming in here a lot. Do you want to get some of my secret egg rolls?
Do you want some of my secret? The answer to that question is no.
I think the answer to that question is always yes. If I'm offered a secret menu item, I have to say yes.
Here's where it gets weird. It's my secret egg rolls. Do you want some of the secret egg rolls? Do you want some of my secret, like this is my stash that I keep under the table to eat throughout the day to keep my shit going. Like, you want some of my secret egg rolls?
All right, Sejohn brings up a good point there. I had not considered what that could have meant, but I just thought, like, oh, it's still like a bakery. She just probably made them, right? I don't think.
I'm just like what is? Wait, you didn't really clarify? Did she at least also bring home donuts, or was this?
Oh, she brought home the
like
donuts
Jack
too.
And the Beanstalk style.
No. It's not like they're like they were all out of donuts, but I got these secret egg rolls. No, she came home with donuts too. No, the problem was that they accidentally hit an extra button on the Eggrolls, so they charged her like $400 for them.
Oh. Hope they were fucking worth it.
Oh, I mean, they were really good. But, like, yeah, they were real good Eggrolls. They were, like, garlicky, and there wasn't, like, any cabbage or the stuff I hate in Eggrolls. Like, it's all just pork and spices, and they're delicious. And we would not have had these delicious Eggrolls from Master Homemade Donuts if we had not built up a rapport. This morning, I went to get them and was like, oh, you should ask if they have the Eggrolls. And I'm like, well, let's call beforehand since it's me. So Dale called and she's like, hey, you have the Eggrolls? She's like, oh, yeah, you coming in? I'll put some aside for you. Is 10 enough? I can make another batch before you come in. And she's like, no, 10 will be fine. And then when we get there, when I go to pick them up, I'm like, yeah, I'm picking up those Eggrolls for Dale. And they're like, oh, okay. I also have, like, the apple pie Eggrolls. Do you want the apple pie Eggrolls? And I'm like, yeah, I'll get a couple. She's like, you should get 10. And I'm like, yeah, fine, I'll get the 10. That's okay. Like this woman's selling me these freaking Eggrolls, but the savory ones were so good. I gotta try the sweet ones. The sweet ones are also just incredible.
Oh, yeah. And it's a shame that the next time you walk in there, she's then going to throw you into her witch's oven. But, you know, she is fat.
They have a drive up. I'm not getting out of the car. If I were going inside of it, yes, you're right. She's fattening me up to put into her oven and make me into Eggrolls. I get it. You are what you eat.
You'll get me next time, witch.
But it is nice. I do like that. I like that rapport. I like building that rapport. And it's, I don't know, I'm a personable person, so I like when that happens.
Oh, man. Yeah, well. So, did you get up to anything, like, interesting on day of?
Siege, and I have to ask you, this is going to decide the entire episode of this episode of the Say Report and its trajectory and everything. Do you have any desire to see Jurassic World Rebirth?
I did when I first heard about it and saw it because of the pivot, like the idea that like, okay, we're not doing the Chris Pratt ones anymore. We're going to try something else. And that is intriguing to me, but I lost interest pretty quick. And from what I understand, I'm probably better for it.
So that's what we did on the 4th of July. I wanted to see it, and it's one of those situations where like I'm kind of back in the movies. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later, but I had no desire to see Jurassic World Rebirth or Superman or really Fantastic Four, but I have tickets to all of them. But I'm gonna see them now, and I'm really excited to see Superman and all that. And it's not that I don't want to see these movies for any reason. Like everybody online has a million reasons why they think these movies are going to suck. I was more like, do I really need to go to the theater to see these? But I have this year specifically really sort of reinvigorated my love of going to see films in the theater. Now, granted, it does have to be kind of right in the pocket of the things that I desire from my movie-going experience. I'm not going to go to an
You're more discerning. Nobody's going to fault you for that.
Yeah. But I don't want to be in an auditorium that's about the size of watching it in my living room. And I know that's a bit hyperbolic, but I do feel that way. I want to see it on the biggest screen. I want it to have the laser projection and the Dolby Atmos, especially because it's not $1,000 to see it in that. At most, it's a $2 extra to go see the movie in that.
Hey, man, as somebody that me and my mother went to go see Jurassic Park 3 together because nobody else in the family wanted to go, and it was weeks late into its run because we were trying for weeks to get people to go, and we ended up in a 35-seat theater in the Apple
Valley Mall.
What was the Apple Valley Mall? It was the tiny-ass theater where we watched it, and I get it. I get not wanting to be in that. There's a type of film I would not mind seeing in that space, but I sure wasn't Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk about, at that time, when was Jurassic Park 3? 2000?
98? Something? 2000? Yeah. Something like that.
It's one of those, because, The Lost World Jurassic Park is, I believe, 97?
'97, I think, on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can look at them and check it out. But I'm talking now, like post-pandemic, where most movies are available, like Ballerina and Thunderbolts are available to watch at home. Sinners is available.
Part of my weekend got fucked because I mistakenly thought Thunderbolts was on Disney, and I had made all these plans for myself to watch it. Now, that being said, I am more than willing to pay for it. I just wasn't expecting to.
I get that. I understand.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I get where you're coming from on that. Because I thought it was too. Because they were all, it's going to be a streaming on Disney Plus. That people said that. I mean, it's not. I think people just got confused with how they marketed it, right? Like,
well, and I think that they didn't really do anything to correct that confusion. They wanted people to.
No, they wanted people to get it, and well, I mean, we're gonna have to talk about Disney Plus too, but that'll be a little bit later in this whole thing. But yeah, I want to know when Jurassic Park 3 came out because
2001.
Okay.
July 2001.
So, like that time, yes, I would go. That's different because that was the time Jurassic Park 3 probably wasn't coming to video for like another 2 months at the time you saw it, like a month into its release. Right. It's one of those situations where you have that. Like, it's one of those where if you wait, they're going to be available. And if you're lucky, they're going to be available on a platform you already subscribe to. I don't know. It's just strange the way that it is. So if I'm going, I do want it to be the best possible experience ever. So Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm going to spoiler Jurassic World Rebirth here, Sejohn. If you don't want me to, you tell me. This is also for the audience to know that I'm going to spoil it a little bit.
I mean, are you talking about like what the big reveal is about the dino?
No. Like that. I mean, that's the other thing. I'm going to spoil something that is revealed within like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's this whole. I was very curious after how Dominion went, where dinosaurs and humans were living side by side, and even though the plot of that movie was mostly prehistoric bugs and we got to capture the human clone from Fallen Kingdom. I'm like, where do we bounce back from that? Because the movie looked like the Jurassic World stuff never fucking happened. Like, Rebirth looked like it should have been called Jurassic Park Rebirth, not Jurassic World Rebirth. Which, again, I was totally on board for. And what I have to talk about with this particular film, first of all, people are hating it, and I don't know why they're hating it. It is very much a Jurassic Park franchise movie. You have the people who are supposed to be there, and the people who aren't.
I've heard a lot of people complaining about the whole, like, I wish they'd stop making mutant dinosaurs bit. But wasn't that the whole fucking point in Jurassic Park, is that they mixed them with frogs?
Yeah, they were never 100% dinosaurs. And
right, that was always the idea, is that they were fucking around with the genetics of them. That's what the entire point was.
Right. And like, the fact that Grant, one of the big things about Grant is these aren't accurate. Yeah, but they're what people think of when they think of dinosaurs.
Which has kind of come in a meta way really interestingly full circle, because of all of the new things we've learned about what dinosaurs actually probably looked like has changed immensely. So a lot of those early like visions of dinosaurs, there are some dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, that I think we found out aren't actually correct, right? Didn't we find out something like Triceratops or something was really just a baby form of a different one or something? Or like there's all sorts of stuff in those movies that, between the idea that they were obviously trying to make an entertaining film, on top of that, the movie itself has its own logic for some stuff being weird, and then we've also just learned more in the last like 30 years of making these movies. It's a very interesting kind of thing to follow, is the accuracy, but in no way has any Jurassic Park film ever stood out as a like hyper accurate depiction of dinosaurs walk the earth. That's just not what these movies are.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much, this is our ideas of what they look for. We couldn't get enough DNA, so we had to supplement it with like similar reptiles and amphibians. And the fact that they use the frog DNA is the whole reason that they're able to not asexually reproduce, but switch their gender in the absence of a female. Like, or in the absence of a male, one of them became male. Because the whole thing is, all the dinosaurs are females. They're less aggressive that way and all this other bullshit. But in nature, like, life finds a way, right? Not to quote the fucking Jurassic Park of it all, but it's true. Like, they do. Like, there are things where, like, if there isn't a male, one of them will mutate to be a male and allow the species to propagate and carry on.
Here's my question about Rebirth, though. Like, to your point, right? It sounds like it's a pretty Jurassic Park movie. So what is it doing to make itself specifically stand out versus the others, right? Because, like, that was always kind of the big thing. You know, one was what it was, Jurassic Park. Two was, let's see if we flipped it and brought dinosaurs to the real world versus people going to the dinosaurs. And then Jurassic Park 3, their whole bit was the fallen Jurassic Park, right? Like, wasn't the whole point of that one that they go into, like, the Jurassic Park that's, like, overgrown and stuff?
Will asked me to sum them all up for him because the last one he saw was Jurassic World, but I could use a refresher on all of them. Jurassic Park 1 is essentially a soft open of the park that shows why a theme park with dinosaurs is a bad idea. Jurassic Park 2, as much as, like, you think about bringing dinosaurs to the mainland, the real thing of that is they go to the second island, Isla Sorno, where
that's right. There's a second island.
Yeah, there's a second island. That's the whole point of it, where they developed and grew the dinosaurs who would eventually be transplanted into the zoo that was Jurassic Park. And so they're trying to, like, take out those dinosaurs because they're afraid that somebody will find out about that island and want to take advantage of the fact that there's just an island full of dinosaurs out there. So it's kind of like corporate cleanup, Lost World Jurassic Park, which is the proper title of that one. I fought with Doug Benson about it briefly. He kicked me out of the audience. It's a weird episode. I also was that when I met Jerry O'Connell? It was a weird day. Life. Thinking about memories from 10 years ago. The third one is William H. Macy's son and William H. Macy's stepson and his biological father are flying a plane, and the plane crashes on the original island Isla Nublar. So they have to hire people to go into this restricted environment on, like, a search and rescue mission. That's right. What Jurassic Park 3 is. And they're going through, like,
dilapidated, like, stuff from, like,
from the original park. You get to see, like, they show the whole welcome center again, which is, like, a great moment in that. But it also talks about the fact that these creatures have been evolving. Because at the end of Lost World, you have, like, there are pterodons, and there were never pterodons before. They're like, we didn't think to make those. But because of just how it's working, they've somehow evolved into that. It's all bullshit, right? Just think about Michael Crichton wasn't thinking exactly any of this.
Right? Is that for all these people that are talking about this movie feeling like, man, I really wish they'd get back to the Jurassic Park basics. It feels like that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I mean, the main story and drive behind Jurassic Park is, should man play God? And then who should those, like, experiments and findings be for? Should they just be for the hyper rich, or should it be for everyone? Like, that's the thing, because, like, that's part of Ian Malcolm's whole thing in Jurassic Park is, like, how much are you going to charge for a ticket to Jurassic Park? And he's like, oh, $300 is, like, the low end, and it's like, oh, okay.
Like, in 1993, when it probably cost like $60 to get into Disney.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those situations where, like, yeah, it's a boutique experience, and it costs us a lot. Like, every dinosaur, they give this figure in Rebirth. Every single one of these is $84 million minimum. So if you have a problem with one of these dinosaurs, do you admit that, or do you keep it on as R&D and allow yourself to, like, still budget and look like you're making profits? Like, they talk about dinosaur accounting in Jurassic World Rebirth, and it was one of my favorite moments in the movie.
So that's the hook of that one. This is when we really get into the meat of it all.
The nitty-gritty of it. Yeah. No, I'm not like...
Rebirth 2 is just going to be a courtroom drama.
Well, because that's what I was going to say about Rebirth. What they do in the new reboot to the Jurassic Park franchise, the fourth under the main title of Jurassic World, is they get rid of the dinosaurs. So, like, where Dominion was like, oh, humans will have to learn how to live among dinosaurs. Turns out the climate for dinosaurs is no fucking good. And I mean, like, the heat climate. Like, not the dinosaurs aren't like, ooh, we don't really like how this is going. You guys unlegalized abortion? We're probably gonna, like, fuck off and go somewhere else. No, not the political like, climate.
I need to move to a drier climate for my disposition.
Yes, exactly. I get the vapors. My boy has the consumption, you see. No, so dinosaurs have basically all died out except for along the equator. And they have the way they do it is like the ones that survived moved to the equator. And it's like, did they move to the equator? They're like, oh man, I can't make it in Maine. I'm going to have to pick up and move to the equator. No, the ones who were at the equator lived. The other ones probably just died.
Yeah, right.
Like, in addition to that, to like prove that, like, in the sort of like meta bullshit of it all, like the world is also kind of over dinosaurs. Like, nobody cares about dinosaurs anymore. And it's like, I mean, that would probably happen in the real world. That's the most realistic thing that you guys have done in this movie.
I think the box office numbers and critical reception of the last few Jurassic Park movies will tell you the same thing.
I don't know. I mean, my summation on Fallen Kingdom is they cloned a human and the ethical things behind it. Like, yeah, like, what the fuck?
Was it at least a dinosaur human?
No, she's all human. It's like, it was like, and the second I met her, I'm like, oh, that bitch is a clone. And the people I was sitting with were like, shut up. And I'm like, that's what's gonna be the big reveal. I'm sorry, I've seen too many movies. And then at like the hour and 25-minute mark, he's like, she's a clone of my daughter. And I'm like, I fucking told you. And that's what they are. They're not about dinosaurs. Like Fallen Kingdom, the first half's about dinosaurs. The second half is an auction and a cloned human using the dinosaur technology and like the ethical malpractice that is.
I believe the dinosaur technology can be seen in the documentary Flintstones.
Yeah. Right? Because everybody knows that the Flintstones is actually a neo-prehistoric era post the nuclear wars. Otherwise, why would they have
Jurassic
Christmas?
Franchise. You know that's going to be the loop at the end, right?
That'd be interesting as fuck. I mean,
I'm just imagining a raptor in like an old dog fighting plane, and it just like zooms in on him, and he just looks at it. It's a living.
I mean, have you seen any of the AI trailers for Jurassic World Rebirth? No. I don't love it, but there's some great fucking shit. Like, they talk about, like, why do we have to retrieve this DNA from an egg? And he's like, I guess we could retrieve it from the parent, but it's a 64-foot long it's a 65-ton carnivorous creature the size of an F-16. So then it cuts to like pterodactyls and their F-16 pterodactyl hybrids. Like the AI just picked up on that. And then there's also there's one AI trailer where like Scarlett Johansson is slowly turning into a dinosaur, and then at the end she's a raptor and she still has the haircut. Like, that's the one that got me to go down the hole of Jurassic Park Rebirth AI trailers. Jesus, was that she's being reborn as a dinosaur? Like, no, that's not what happens. That doesn't happen in the movie. But yeah, like, so.
No, this isn't the Alien franchise. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, that's the really gross thing, right? Is that, like, it wouldn't be that surprising if it's what happened in the film. Because it's happened in other franchises that were like, how do we inject new life into this? Rebirth, resurrection. The hero is
part of the villain, and yeah.
I don't. But yes, so the big thing, so dinosaurs only exist in this one area on the Earth, and like it's illegal to go there. So they all have to like sneak in. It's very Kong Skull Island. Like that's how it felt to me. And I love Kong Skull Island. I also love the director Jordan. I can't think of his. I've only ever called him Jordan. I don't remember his last name. His first film, The Kings of Summer, is currently on Paramount Plus. This is my recommendation to watch The Kings of Summer if you have Paramount Plus. And even if you don't, I'm sure you can find it. I gotta get Jordan's real name because I feel like a jerk just calling him by his name.
But if you got it, grab it.
It's a race. It's a race. I mean, he did Skull Island, and I really liked Skull Island. Jordan Voight Roberts. Oh, I almost called him Jordan Vaughn, so I don't feel bad about that. Yeah, Jordan Voight Roberts. Kings of Summer is fantastic, especially if you're one of our listeners who grew up in the 90s, because it's like a 90s period piece, in addition to just being one of the greatest films that I've ever seen. But yeah, so Rebirth really feels like Kong Skull Island because we're going to this special island where dinosaurs are still alive that we're not allowed to go to. And here's the thing, and I don't know if this was the criticism that people had about this film, I would totally be there with them. I wouldn't agree with it, but it's how I felt, because during this movie, I half expected trophies to keep popping up in the corner when they accomplished things. The movie is structured so much like a fucking video game, it's absurd. Like, it's collect the characters, and then, all right, here's the island. We have to get these 3 DNA samples.
Nice.
And then, like, it's one of those things
where... the markers on your map.
Yeah, here's this. And that, yeah, like, they're tracking the mosasaur, which is the big, like, whale type thing that they got to get the first sample from. Also, the beginning of this movie is just fucking Jaws. Like, I'm not kidding. It just felt like Jaws, which was interesting and kind of answered the question of why the Jaws re-release for the 50th anniversary is August 29th, because they couldn't release it during July 4th weekend because they already had a Jaws movie coming out that weekend. It's called Jurassic World Rebirth. But yeah, every time, like, when they got the second, like, sample, I, like, looked up at the right expecting the trophy to pop, like, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Collect 2 of the 3 samples. And then when they got the third sample, I'm like, and then I wanted to be like, now what? Because the movie's not over. They still have to get off the island. Like, it was very video game coded. And honestly, as somebody who's been talking to my friends who have, like, teenage kids, they have no interest in watching movies. And if you try to gamify film, maybe it would draw them in. Is disgusting. Ooh. I hate that I said those words, but...
You're dropping hints of a segue, Dev, but keep going.
Oh, no, let's be all about it. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, I enjoyed the film, but again, like, they are just monsters at this point. Like, they're traced by Mutodon raptors, which are velociraptor pterodactyl hybrids. Like, that's the big thing that chases them, and it's just like, holy crap. And then the D-Rex, it doesn't stand for Dominus Rex. It stands for basically the Rancor. It looks like the Rancor from Star Wars.
The Rancor Rex.
I think it's Detritus Rex. Like, it's trash. Disastrous Rex is what the D-Rex stands for in Jurassic World Rebirth. Because, like, nice. it's a disaster. It has its little regular T-Rex arms. You also see this thing in the first, like, 5 minutes of the film. And then it has, like, long gorilla arms. Like, I'm like, oh, it's got Goro arms. That's nice. What I said. Because I could totally see it picking the stuff up with its big arms, putting it in its little arms, and then eating it while it's holding it with its little arms. Yeah, I mean, it's like, so, but it really, I mean, Jurassic Park historically has some of the worst video games outside of the light gun games. The light gun games, geez, my parents have beaten the first 3 Jurassic Park light gun games. I'm not kidding about that. That's not hyperbolic.
These are the ones that are at, like, Dave and Buster's and shit, right? Where like
those are the ones now. Those are the new ones. The original ones were like Area 51 or House of the Dead, where you just stood and shot, no sit down stuff.
Yeah.
I think the Lost World had a sit down one, but you didn't like move, and the guns weren't stationary. You still held it. Yeah, because that's the one that was at the North Attleboro showcase. Was Lost World, but it had a bench seat. But
Jurassic Park was pretty ripe for the on-rail shooter, as it were.
And my parents have beaten the first 3 games. And that's like because they paid, but also they didn't have to pay a bunch to beat it. It's not like it cost them $20. Like I think they once beat Lost World for $5 between them. Like because they're not super long, right? Because there's only so many things you can do with dinosaurs. And also, what I will say about the on rails Jurassic Park shooter, light gun shooter, is they're real fair for arcade games. Like, it's one of the first ones where, okay, you're fighting the T-Rex. These are the places you need to shoot it in order to have it not attack you. It's not like, good luck finding the weaknesses. It shows you what the weaknesses are each time, which is something that...
they did have the Jurassic Park games that were like the roller coaster tycoon style ones that I'm pretty sure Jeff Goldblum is the narrator in them. Those are pretty decent. But you got to be really into that like sim life, you know?
Yeah. I'm talking about the Super Nintendo game, which is fine, right? I've played it. I've done all right at it. I've never finished it. But going from the third person walking around the park to it has these first person parts where like you fight dinosaurs, the resolution goes from like 480 to 10. Like if you have an emulator, boot up Jurassic Park for Super Nintendo, and if you just head south from the start, you can enter a building. The screen itself has to set itself. Like, play it in window mode, even if it's full, like the highest thing, it goes to the highest it can go resolution-wise for the first person. But watching Rebirth, I'm like, man, it's time for a good Jurassic Park game. It's like time for an Uncharted style Jurassic Park. Right?
Yeah. Uncharted's a good one. I was gonna say the Resident Evil clone
Dino Crisis. I want a new Dino Crisis.
I'm surprised we have not seen another one of those because with all of this going on, I think that's one of the reasons that the Jurassic Park games, like the narrative based games, have been such a bummer, is because like they don't capture the eeriness, the on your toes like excitement that the movies do.
Yeah,
Dino Crisis is pretty good in that regard, though.
Yeah. So Dino Crisis, I mean, they've had games through Dino Crisis 3. There's Dino Stalker, which is a light gun shooter. I did not know.
Well, I think Dino Crisis, is like straight up available, like if you want to play it on 4 and 5 through like the streaming
stuff.
Yeah. So,
but then there was also a lot of people who thought that Exoprimal, the multiplayer third-person game that they did in 2023, was kind of meant to be like a slant sequel to the world of Dino Crisis, because the main mode of the game is called Dino Survival, and it's to survive dinosaurs while like competing against another team. But it's only 2040, where like Dino Crisis takes place in I think like 2540. Like they're like, this is real futuristic style stuff.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, no, I'd like a game like that. I'd enjoy it.
Man, a Resident Evil 2 style remake, a Resident 2 remake style remake of Dino Crisis would be fucking hilarious.
People have been asking for it forever. Like, everybody wants them to do that game, because it'd be incredible. Future. People have been asking for several decades for a new installment in the series. And as of March 2017, they said that there are no internal plans to revive it. But they were also both made available to purchase on Good Old Games, January 29th of 2025. So I'm sure that I might look into that, because I bet there's somebody who has done mods so that you can like not have tank controls and things like that. Oh man, that's a good one. I like that one a lot.
It's one of those ones that like it doesn't stick with me enough that I think about it every day. But then like I remember that a game like that exists, and I'm just like, man, they just don't let the weird shit happen anymore.
No, they don't. They do weirder shit. Like there's that new one coming out that kind of looks like it might be a slant Mega Man like remake sequel type thing. I can't think of the name of that one, but it's the guy in like the suit, and he has the little blue like android girl who's working with him. What is that? I'm looking up the name of this game. It's Pragmata.
I want to go back to your.
Like,
your
let's go back to
the,
video game movies. Oh, yeah. Like, what do you got?
Yeah, I want to go back to your video games. The idea of gamifying film, because you had me partake in a little piece of culture this morning, and I did just watch it this morning just before we got on together.
Me too.
The Minecraft Block Party version edition, whatever the fuck you want to call it, available on HBO Max. It is so. Devon, can you explain to people? I can't put it into words myself. What is the Block Party edition entail?
All right, so the Block Party edition was originally released to theaters, and it was in a way for them to capitalize on the Rocky Horror Picture Show-esque environs that were being created in screenings of the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, and the way that they choose to do this is through
the worst fucking choice possible. I don't mean to be rude.
Well, like, here's the thing. I wouldn't mind the silly memification of the whole thing, because I think that is part of the Minecraft experience. I think that is part of what Minecraft did. It is a part of meme culture in a lot of ways. Like it was there in the early days. I won't say that it was like a progenitor of it in any way, but it was there in the early days when that sort of culture was being created, and therefore those two are inextricably linked, right? So the very type of thing that created the audiences that were then going in and causing problems at other viewings of the movie, like, I think that they did the right thing by buying into that. There's a couple of things that they do though that are very much like what's the nicest way to put it? Like what's speaking of memes, what's the what's the Steve Buscemi meme from 30 Rock there?
Hello fellow kids.
Right? Yeah, that whole bit. Like there is a little bit of it that stinks of that. Very specifically, when I talk about them memeing the movie, they literally put the words on screen to go along with what's being said in order to, if you wanted to, capture it in a 30-second clip and make it a GIF for your fucking, your Snapchats and your Discords, as it were. But they do a countdown. The 3, 2, 1 or the 1, 2, 3, whatever. But
it's a 3, 2, 1 countdown.
In addition to the words appearing on screen for the meme itself, they're like, get ready. Like, it feels almost like watching like
Dora the
television,
Explorer.
like Dora the Explorer or something like that, where they're just like, everybody get ready to meme now. And it's like, okay, you're clearly like, the fact that they get that there's a meme there is interesting, but the fact that they get no read on it whatsoever sounds about right, because it is the most corporate nonsense ever. In addition to that, they also then put the lyrics up for the various songs throughout the entire thing. My favorite one being Dennis. I love but and that is something that really interestingly, like, is actually not unique to Minecraft. That is something, like, I know that they were doing this before, but I remember, like, the sing-along version of Frozen being like a money-making kind of machine all unto itself. Being able to go to the theater and get the words to sing along to Frozen was like a huge deal when it came out. Again, I wouldn't say Frozen was the first movie to do that, but it was definitely it was definitely a reason for people to point to say we should do this with every movie, right? It's a very weird experience watching that edition of Minecraft, not least of which because I haven't seen it otherwise. That is the version of Minecraft I have now seen.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
as
interesting.
going back as far as like the 60s, they had sing-along versions of movies. Like, so that's the thing. So it's certainly not a new thing. Before watching the Block Party edition this morning, had only ever seen the work print. And part of me was, I really want to watch this regular, and then I'll do the Block Party. And then it's like, you know what? If I'm going to get people to watch it, it's going to be one time. Let's just sit down and watch the Block Party version. But the reason why I say it sucks is the countdown is really weird, because part of like the beauty of comedy is timing. And if every time I was going to say something funny, a little like countdown showed up 3 seconds prior, like you're wondering more about that countdown than what's about to happen. It was also weird that I don't feel like they, like you said, it's corporate guys who are deciding what is the memeable moments. I was really surprised that like boat magic wasn't one of them, because I thought that was legitimately funny. But then I'm like, well, but did I think it was funny because it just happened? Like I didn't have it telling me that something was going to happen. Like it was. Yeah. And I wish
it's like it doesn't trust its audience enough. Like it sees it, you know what it is it's Morbius 2.0 is like it is the corporation overlord seeing the masses like latch on to something about the movie and just like not understanding what at all. So they're just the kids are memeing this movie. Kids are running around screaming phrases from this film. Let's do it. Let's get this on. Let's dive into this. And then, like, completely missing that, like, you need to let that shit organically happen. You can't force that shit.
Yeah. Actually, I misspoke. As early as the 1920s, there would be sing-alongs in movie houses. Especially because, like, there was never synchronized sound. So you'd be watching, like, visuals, and you'd have stuff that you could all sing along to. So, yeah. I'm curious how much the Block Party edition, like, made. Like, hold on. Box office...
I don't know, man. It might be one of those things where they roll it right into the other version's money, and so we may never get like a full, we'll get 3 different numbers.
Yeah, no. The special edition allows for singing, shouting, audience interaction during screenings, similar to the Rocky Horror Picture Show experience. And I always feel like they ripped this off because I called it the Rocky Horror Chicken Jockey the first time that I saw the work print of it. But not in like a bad way, like in the way that like this is the type of stuff. But then you think about Rocky Horror was something that happened organically, and that's where the fun of it is. But now it's not fun. I don't know the last time you've gone to like a midnight screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but even that feels hyper sanitized now. And a little corpo, even though I think the people who are doing it would never describe themselves as corporate. That's me, though.
But the Minecraft Block Party edition is a thing that exists in this world. I think that, like, I don't know. I mean, so here's my thing: is now I have to wonder now if my feelings about the Minecraft movie are ever going to be unsullied by what I've seen, right? Because like, how do I feel about the Minecraft movie now that the only version of it I've ever seen is the Block Party edition? As Devon pointed out, where a lot of the funnier parts of the movie are completely blown by the fact that you're given a countdown to wait for the punchline. Did like boat magic though, that was pretty rad. Also Jennifer Coolidge, just the entire bit with her and the villager is a gem of a B plot. Like there's good stuff in that movie. I really expected from the previews alone, I'm not even saying like from like the stories that I've heard, but from the previews, I expected Jason Momoa's character to be a lot more Billy Mitchell, and like the fact that that's not who he was.
No, he's great. Really, I think that like Garrett Garrison's a great character. Like
he's a lot more interesting than I thought he was going to be. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, he's no Fireball. What the hell is his name? Firebrand? Fire Blaster from Pixels. Like Fire Blaster and Pixels is Billy Mitchell. That is what they were trying to do with the character. Like
and is like a dick, right?
Yeah,
like as
he's
part of that, right? Is in that. And I was expecting Garrett to be much more dickish when he was not.
No, he's actually he's the heart of the movie in a lot of ways.
Learn to grow up, stunted and all that sort of stuff. I also am not entirely sure. I'm not sure what they wanted us to understand about the character of Steve in a lot of ways. You know what it is that I have a very limited, but I do have an understanding of some of the background stories in Minecraft, just because of, as somebody that has spent the last decade on YouTube, like I have taken in a lot of different people talking about those stories, right? And so like the idea of like getting to the quote unquote end game with like the Ender Dragons and stuff like that, and how like you can pick up on little stuff about like the history of the master builders and stuff, and then the ways in like Minecraft Dungeons like really leaned into that history. And so like the fact that none of that is what's actually in the movie is really an interesting choice. It's not a Minecraft movie, noticeably, right? It is it's not the Minecraft movie. It is a Minecraft movie, right? Isn't that the whole thing?
Yeah, I think so. It's a Minecraft movie, yes, which is smart.
Yeah,
because and even in the beginning, he says there are hundreds of stories on the overworld. They basically admit up front that they're not going to be telling you the story of Minecraft. They're going to be telling you a story in Minecraft, which is, I think, a really deep, cool way to look at that franchise as a game, you know? Yeah. I mean, yeah, specifically the first sentence being, there are many stories in the overworld. This is mine. Is like, and that's what Minecraft kind of is. It's however you make your own story while you're playing it. Before things like
and I think that's cool.
The story mode really... and dungeons. So, yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really like, and you know, there is also something about like, I immediately felt like if I was 12, 13 years old and seeing this movie, there's a lot in this movie that I think I'd be super into. There was some stuff that I was like almost kind of sad that I wasn't enjoying in some ways. Also, here's the thing that I am going to give full fucking top-notch credit to, though. The look of this fucking movie rules. The CGI mixed with the real world stuff, and like the designs on, even in the real world, the just the set designs and stuff, like Garrett's whole shop and stuff like that, this movie looks awesome. And I would say that. So, I
mean, what I'll say is, first of all, I preferred the work print to the finished print. And I don't know if, like, the novelty of it, like, brought me there, or if it was, like, them, like, kind of telegraphing everything that was meant to be funny, or that had, like, the internet had deemed funny. And then I'm like, I really didn't think that was funny the first time. Now this is what they expect people to, like, cheer along with. That seems strange. You know, and so there's that. And that's kind of how I felt the first time that, like, I went to a midnight screening of Rocky Horror. Like, this is a thing that they do here? This doesn't... Okay. All right. That's fun. Like, I don't like asshole whenever they say Brad's name. I don't get that particular joke. I'm going to just admit that. Come for me, Rocky Horror fans. I dare you. I'm an asshole. But what I do like about this movie, it really does feel in a lot of ways, and especially coming out 21 years after it, a sort of spiritual sequel to Napoleon Dynamite in a lot of ways. I'm going to say that. Like, I know it's right. Jared Hess, so it's the same director, but like in terms of just the town of Chugall, right? Or Chugless. The town of Chugless really feels reminiscent of Preston in Napoleon Dynamite. In a lot of ways, Garrett Garrison is kind of like an Uncle Rico-esque character.
Oh, you know what? If you told me that he was a character from Napoleon Dynamite, I would actually, in a heartbeat, see that. You say that specifically, and I see that like clear in my mind.
Right? Like it's... Like, it all fits in, like, the llama of it all, right? Like, gosh, Tina, when Dawn's riding around with the llama in the back of her car. Like, yeah. These are all the thoughts. And then one of the first creatures that you see in the overworld is a llama, right?
Yeah. Isn't there? Like,
yep, there's a whole llama scene there. So, like, it tracks with that. My problem, and I don't know if I talked about this, I kind of wanted to keep it special so that you saw the movie with it. I do not understand. I have a real problem with the character. I mean, you know, it's orphan kid's story. What is the name of the little brother? I can't think of his Henry, yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Henry's like, I feel stifled in my creativity. Bitch, what are you talking about? You made a functional jetpack in the first 15 minutes of this movie. Like it.
Oh yeah,
like,
but this is the old movie trope though, right? Where let's not focus on the fact that his invention worked. Let's focus on like because they and I will say this movie does this well enough for me because he does fucking destroy a factory with it, right? So like there is something to that, but the stifled in my creativity, like I need room to grow, I need room to breathe. That's not just this movie. That is a kids movie trope, like day one. Like it is. I don't love it either, but it's a common one in these types of movies.
And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with the trope. I'm not fine with the demonstration in this movie. Like, he made a working jetpack, and you see the kid like cut the thing. If that meant that the jetpack then didn't fly and he looked like an asshole because it didn't fly, that would be fine with me. And that would also be the type of thing that like makes him crestfallen and feel like I'm not good at this. The fact he creates a functional jetpack, Sejohn. He creates a functional jetpack, and that bothers me a little.
You know, the other movie that comes to mind when you mention this is Space Jam: A New Legacy, where the entire storyline with his son is that he has created an entire video game, like a soon-to-be released. Like he is working on like patch notes essentially for like QA testers so that he could like get it out into the world. And like but the whole thing of that movie is that he feels like his father doesn't see what he does as important in art and all of this sort of stuff and like blah blah. But that is exactly that, right? Is that I think it's more I think the idea being that he doesn't feel like he is being supported in what he's doing by the people that it matters that support him, like his sister, for instance, right? Does this movie do a good job of this? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that like I don't think it's necessarily this idea where he feels like he is actually stifled in the world, rather like he feels like he doesn't have any backup because if he did have a good supportive family, then making a mistake like what he makes wouldn't be seen as the end of it all. He would be able to see the actual good in what he was able to do that day, and then get back up and keep moving forward. But he can't do that because he doesn't have somebody in his life teaching him how to.
Yeah, and I guess there's never like that moment where like if he's picked up by Garrett, like who pretends to be his uncle, and then they go to the shop. There's never like a moment where the town has turned on him for destroying the beloved potato chip mascot. Like that'd be a moment, right? Like they try to show that when Dawn shows up and she's like, "Oh, everybody's talking about how Henry destroyed the big chip guy." How does everybody know already? Like it would go a lot to show how like now the world has turned on him for what happened. And then he'd be yearning for the escape of the overworld. And yeah, I don't know.
Yearning for the mines.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't know. But I'm glad that you finally saw it. I think if you take some time and go back to it and watch it without that stuff, I mean, honestly, I had forgotten most of what happened in this movie. From when I watched the work print, and that was like 3 months ago. So it's not...
There's some fun bits. And when I say that they don't really do much with this Minecraft story itself, that's not to say that it somehow eschews the game. Like this movie clearly has a love for the game. There is some fun bits and knowledge about like redstone and stuff that are really fun, and lava and all that shit. Like there is some good stuff in this movie in terms of we played the game too. It's just that sprinkled in is still a lot of the cringier shit too, right? It just doesn't do a good job of washing itself completely. Like you go back and watch the Lego movie, and I would not call much of the Lego movie cringy, at least in its relationship to Legos themselves. That stuff all plays like people that really loved Legos, right? And this feels like they had enough people in the room that really knew Minecraft and loved Minecraft to get shit right, but not everybody there necessarily got the bit, right?
Yeah, I agree. That is, I don't know. Movies are such by committee these days that you're not going to get anything that feels like there isn't some sort of corporate oversight. And I think it's weird. A couple of things, right? I'll wrap these together and then we can talk about some other stuff and move past this. But like 2010, I knew somebody who like, whenever we watched a movie together, he would yell "suits" at the screen at anything he felt was only in the movie because, like, the studio mandated it. It was a terrible experience watching movies with him. I loved the guy. He was great, funny, supportive, but the fact that he would go suits whenever clearly that wasn't art. That was the studio saying you have to do this, which is also an interesting thing because it's not like he knew. It was all like his subjective choice to that. Yeah, so it was a weird sort of way to watch a film, is what I'll say. Didn't love it, but it's something that I've been thinking of. And then another thing, and this is it. I don't know what social media you're on, but this past week or so, there's been one going around as if you see this, share your favorite American Dad scene. And I've been eating good on X, formerly Twitter. I'm not going to lie. Lots of real fun American Dad just like filling my days. But I watched the episode where Stan bets Haley that he and Francine can live on minimum wage for a month.
Oh, classic. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When do you think that episode came out, Sejohn?
2003?
2005
is when...
Yeah, American Dad started in 2005.
So 2006 or 2007, because I think it's second season, isn't it?
No, it's season 7. It's 2012.
Oh, okay.
But
I remember that it's early. Look, that show has had, 25 seasons now? I think I could be.
They just finished their 21st. Family Guy's the one that's around 25. It's completely understandable. But that episode being something that is now 13 years old, but has never been truer for how little, minimum wage goes, it was kind of a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we've known about this problem of the wage is not worth enough to live in this country for more than a decade, right? Because you also need to consider that American Dad, they've said it's about 18 months from script to screen. Mm-hmm. So they started that 15 years ago. Let's do an episode on how difficult it is to live on minimum wage.
Yeah, and to your point, they didn't invent this idea.
No,
right?
No, they certainly did not.
This has been a problem that's been in the water for quite a while. Yeah,
for a long time, and it's just, and the solution to that being we'll just pick up more gigs or jobs on the side. No, that's not what we should do. But, the big, beautiful bill passed, and that's all I really want to talk about I'm having fun this episode. I want to avoid the depressing stuff till next episode.
I watched Roadhouse.
Nice! The new one or the original one?
The new one.
The new one is so good. I love that one.
Doug Liman, right, as Helming, and then...
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I just had his name. Jake Gyllenhaal, thank you. I just had his name in my mouth. Yep. The UFC produced or something, what was going on there? They definitely seem to be buying into that. Dana White is eating fat on that movie, I guess. But yeah, that was actually a great movie. I don't know what I mean by actually, because I had heard nothing but good things about it. And so I was just looking for a good summer action movie to put on, and man, did that fit the bill.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, when I saw it, we talked about it at length. It is worth it. It's very enjoyable. I'm trying to remember who plays the crazy
fact that he is
guy.
Not indestructible, I think, is a key to that movie to make it really interesting. Right? He's not a superhero in any way in that movie.
Well, it's also, that's also the original too.
Sure.
Dalton is such a relatable character because
I think it'd be right, but I think it would be easy nowadays with the ways in which we do I God love him. I love Jason Statham, but you watch The Beekeeper, and that man is basically just a superhero in that movie, right? And he is not human, in a weird way. I picked the perfect movie because that's kind of the whole point of him. But that idea that your action hero, we talk about this with The Rock and is it The Rock and Vin Diesel that have the contracts that are we can only get so many hits and this many hits, so that it's technically a tie, right? They have a point system.
Yeah, in Fast and the Furious movies that had to go shot for shot and things like that.
Right. So you talk about that kind of shit. You watch a movie like this, and you're just like, no, he was not afraid to Gyllenhaal was not afraid to let himself be seen getting the shit kicked out of him on screen, and they aren't afraid to show you. Also, like, he's just not like Ace's at like the bit with the explosive at the end that he rigs up, which is weird that he has the knowledge and ability to do that, to rig it up, but also then it doesn't work right away. So I appreciated that kind of, because I was like, okay, so he didn't quite get it right, but he was able to get close enough and get it to do what it's supposed to do. It was that there was a lot of really good stuff in that movie.
Yeah, it really was enjoyable. I'm glad that you checked it out. I feel bad for Doug Liman. Apparently there's a second one in pre-production, which is good, that it was successful enough to get a sequel, and not like a years later straight to DVD sequel like Roadhouse 2 The Last Call, which is weird. But we can talk about that at another time. But I also feel bad because Doug Liman had fully intended that to be a theatrically released film, and he felt like Amazon pulled the rug out from under him when they released it right straight to Prime.
Well, and I don't know why they did. Like it, I like we talked about this a little bit when we did Hellboy, right?
Yeah.
Where we both agreed after watching Hellboy, we got it. We understood why they pulled it, but not the same with Roadhouse.
Not the same with Roadhouse. I think had Roadhouse shown up in theaters, it probably would have done a little bit better. I think that the world was kind of itching for the Top Gun Maverick of it all. Not to be an asshole and say that, but like, there's a reason why Roadhouse happened, and it's because the world lost its collective fucking mind for a Top Gun sequel 26 years later. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's very strange how that whole thing works out. But hey, ours is just to wonder why, not to ever truly know what's going on in the heads of the people who are making these entertainments. Jeez.
Shit, man.
But yeah. What was it gonna? Okay. Have you finished Ironheart?
No, I have not. Because in all of my watching this week, we did not get to the end of that. I will be honest. The people I was watching with are not chomping at the bit to get back to it, so I'm probably going to do it on my own. I was enjoying it. I don't know, but
we did it all in one night. I was very happy
Yeah.
that like the people agreed to do it in one night. The rest of it, that's the last we're gonna say on it. Because first of all, I don't want to add to the sea of just like bile that is out there related to Ironheart right now until we can both like talk on it. I don't want to just be the only one talking. And I don't think that we're going to be producing bile, but the sea is mostly bile, right? Like if I pour a Poland Spring into the ocean, it's still going to be salty. And I think if we're working together, having fully seen it, we can have a bigger contribution than if it's just me. Yeah. I returned the other two Switch 2 games that I bought. I'm going to say that here. I returned my game key card copy of Street Fighter 6, 1 and 2. Never opened it, and I returned my Switch 2 edition. Apologies to Claude of Tears of the Kingdom. Because like they were coming up on when I could return them, and I'm like, you know what? They're still in the plastic wrap. This thing is getting used maybe once a week for Mario Kart, and that's it. Like, I feel bad about that. I also did not start Violet. I did not do anything with Paper Mario on it. But someone else did ask me to try Metroid Dread because they felt that it was dreadful when it came out. And I know that Team Red Droid is not available on YouTube, but you can still get it wherever else our podcasts are available. So I'm going to give that one a try. I actually have all these games I'm going to get out and maybe give a try on my Switch 2 this week. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not like I'm not enjoying playing video games. It's just I'm finding more fun things to do with my time. Because I've been playing the shit out of the Ghostbusters game, Spirits Unleashed. We
gotta get back on that, man.
Yeah, I'm 15 levels away from Prestige level 4. Like, I'm tearing through it. So, yeah, I would love to get back on that with you. And it's just a blast, that game. It is just a blast. So I'm playing
Bachelor nights this week. We should talk.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. Well, then we have that to talk about. I guess the only other thing I did with this weekend is we rewatched Summer School, the 1987 Mark Harmon, Kirstie Alley film.
Yeah. Weird. Wow. Okay.
Well,
yeah, okay.
So one of the local radio DJs was like, "It's one of my favorite movies," and my mother's like, "I've never seen it," and I'm like, "Well, it's worth watching. I don't know if I'd ever say it's one of my favorite movies. It's definitely worth watching, and 100% that is how Kirstie Alley got the role of Rebecca Howe." Because her relationship with Mark Harmon's Freddie Shoop is the same as Rebecca Howe's relationship with Sam Malone. Where, like, they have that, like, cute, flirtatious, like, banter, but she keeps rebuffing him until eventually she no longer can. Or she no longer wants to, right? Like, does that make it sound like he wears her down? No, like, she does it, but, she wants Sam to be better, and she wants better for herself. And then he gets better, and she doesn't necessarily get worse, but she realizes that she should be happy with what she has in the world. This is in Cheers, not in Summer School. Summer School is a bit of a different one.
Who makes Summer School? I know that it's Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley in the movie, but
it is Carl Reiner. It's Carl Reiner who directed it.
Yeah.
And he has a lovely little cameo as the guy who was originally going to be the summer school English teacher before he wins $500,000 on a lottery scratcher.
It's an interesting movie. It's a quirky little, like, kind of harmless comedy at a time when, like, there was a lot of comedies from that time that started to get really harmful.
It even does that nice thing where, like, there's a foreign exchange student in it, and she's not there because she needs remedial English, thank fucking Christ. She's just going to be starting at the school in the fall, and she thinks that it'll be good to, like, be in an English class so she can familiarize herself with that environment. So she's not there to take the test or anything like that, but they go to the beach, right? Like, part of the whole thing is that, like, we can just go on a bunch of field trips. So they go on a field trip to the beach, and she goes to take off her top, and it's like one of those, oh yeah, here come the 80s boobs in this PG movie, and, like, two other female students stop her and are like, "You're not in the French Riviera, we don't do that here." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Like, I kind of liked that little subversion, I'm not gonna lie to you.
NCIS is a JAG spinoff, right?
Yes, it is.
Speaking of Harmon.
And not only that, so Lepardo, Patrick Lepardo, and Harmon working together on this. They actually make a couple of references to it in the few episodes where they cross over, which is kind of nice.
Nice. What a wild! I never knew that. It was not math I had ever done before. But I'm sitting here looking at the IMDb page, going, "Wait a minute, they were both in JAG."
Yeah.
Well, the JAG verse.
Well, they were both in JAG because NCIS started as a backdoor spinoff. The season 9, episode 21 and 22. I think it's like The Iceman is the title of the episodes. And it's like, oh, he reminds me of this guy, of this teacher I knew in summer school. Bud, you went to summer school? Oh, for honors history, which is what Kirstie Alley teaches in the movie. So it's like a nice little reference to the film if you've seen it, and then like a subversion of the expectations. That this guy who would go on to get his law degree. No, I was taking honors history.
I was taking extra classes, not. Great.
So it's a cute little thing.
Good shit.
Yeah. So it is, and that was fun too. But like, you got Courtney Thorne-Smith in it. You got Shawnee Smith.
We have American hero Mark Harmon, cannot be denied.
Exactly. So it's a great little cast, and a lot of the people who are in it go on to do other things. I mean, Patrick Lepardo and Dean Cameron are both in Ski School in '91, the sort of slant sequel to it. And what's it? Richard Horvitz, the voice of Invader Zim, Daggett Beaver, or Chaos from Skylanders. It's one of his like only live acting roles as Iki. It's just fun. It's an interesting, and it's one of those ones where like you talk about like it's not offensive and things like that. I also really like the story of like these students aren't dumb. You've just like never listened to them or tried to understand how they learn. Like, it's a movie that's like kind of like a slapstick sort of comedy that also addresses that dyslexia is a real thing, and like if kids are not caught early enough, they just slip through the system. Like, it is 1987 with a dyslexia storyline.
and I'm a sucker for the unconventional teacher trope, right? Like you have like examples of this here, but I mean even going into like stuff like Camp Nowhere, and to that point, these spiritual sequel Accepted, where you have like these older characters that are there because they are not conventionally, like accepted by society either, whether it's because they're alcoholics or they're sloppy, but at the end of the day, they're the only ones that actually can get through to these kids, right?
How do I teach these kids?
But even in the more dramatic sense, right? Like Dead Poet Society was my bread and butter. Like I eat that shit up like crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I like School Ties so much, because they don't have a teacher like that. They don't have a teacher who like knows how to cater to them. So you actually see the kids kind of find that for each other in that movie, which is an interesting thing too. Though also you have a lot of the like anti-Semitism in School Ties. Still a good movie though. Still a fun one.
It's not inconsequential. Like it is part of the plot.
Yeah.
So like it's not just like casually thrown in anti-Semitism. Like it is plot significant.
Right. But I want to make sure that like they treat him pretty badly when they find out that he's Jewish. David is treated poorly by the wasps that attend that school. But up until that point, like why they make that fall so grandiose is because the teachers are fucking against us. We have to become each other's support system. So then
have to become School Ties.
Our school ties are the only school ties that matter. Taps. I hate the movie Taps. Just talking about
movies.
It. What? You hate movies?
I didn't say I hate movies, but man, movies they're a mixed bag sometimes.
I don't know. I'm so tired of everybody getting upset by movies, and I don't think it's like genuine. Like I watched like 3 hours of vitriol about Jurassic World Rebirth, and I'm like, how are you this mad about this? Is it just because you know it's going to get you views if this is what your video is?
It's interesting that you talk about this, just to give us another quick segue somewhere, but we can keep talking about this for sure. YouTube has hinted at, pretty much put out wording, I guess, that they are going to start reconsidering the market value, like the ad revenue structure for reaction videos and things like that. Basically saying that like if you're not adding significant, like if you're not doing anything significant to change the original piece, we're not going to continue to give you ads. And so there's people that are saying, well, who gets to decide where that line is, right? Because there's a lot of people that do these reaction videos and do these like 3-hour long things where they talk about an hour and a half movie. And so you basically see the entire movie while you watch this thing with them, because they are showing you like scene by scene. Like it doesn't matter that it's maybe out of order, or it doesn't matter that it's maybe slow or like slow paced and things like that, because you're only watching 30 seconds at a time. By the time you're done watching one of these 3-hour, 4-hour, 6-hour rants, you get the entire movie. It's stopping people from going to movies. This is the argument line. This is not me saying this, but this is the thought process, right? So they want to restructure the ways in which people are making that kind of content, or at least restructure the ways in which they're going to allow people to make money off of it. And I wonder what that means going forward, right? Because I know that there are a lot of people that right now make a lot of money on these ad revenue for these things, because it's almost kind of a bit that like, yeah, of course they make a 6-hour thing like ripping on Jurassic World, because they get 6 hours worth of ad revenue just by repeating themselves.
I mean, that is, I contacted you and I thanked you, because I watched a 20-minute review of everything that went wrong with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. We did an episode on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, like Elvis in Blue Hawaii, right? That's the title of the episode. We did it for Ninjativity 2023. We did a full-length episode, right? Which is an interesting thing. I've been going back to, like, when an episode of the Say Report was an hour and 7 minutes. Like, right around episode 130, we were generally doing episodes that were exactly an hour and 7 minutes long. And I don't think we planned it. It's just sort of how it happened. And now, like, this episode, we just passed the 94-minute mark. Like we've gotten longer. We talk a little bit longer, right? And it's probably because of COVID and the fact that like we enjoy talking to each other, and it was our escape for like 5 years, right? Like,
yep.
And so we talk about this stuff, but in that 20 minutes that person talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the amount of times that they repeated themselves was like staggering, like, and it has to be because they're trying to get to it. Because, like, I've learned a little bit about, like, ad structure for YouTube. And the fact that anything less than 8 minutes, you cannot put mid-roll ads in. So 8 minutes is where you can have a pre-roll and a mid-roll advertisement in your thing. And then, and it just, like, goes up from there. Probably in, like, 8-minute increments. Which I swear I did not know when I said we're doing Suits LA for 16 minutes. I just did what would be a quarter of the runtime of Suits LA. That's how I determined that.
I think that one of the big things that I'm not learning from this current stuff that's going on with YouTube, but like being made aware of kind of for the first time, is that demonetizing a video does not mean that they don't continue to put ads on it. It just means they stop sending you the money.
Right.
So your video is still getting hit with ad like breaks and shit, but now you're just not getting any of the money for it, which is a crazy idea, right?
That seems criminal to me. Yeah.
Well, especially because like my understanding has always been that the forward-facing excuse for this kind of thing was, well, we don't want our product, right? We want to make sure we can ensure to our customers that their product, the ad, is not going to show up next to somebody giving a Nazi salute. And it's like, no, we'll still put the ad on there. It'll still be next to your Nazi salute, but now we are going to take all the money for it. This is like, thanks a lot. Like,
right. That's like YouTube saying, like, we're going to take the responsibility for that Nazi salute, which means that we're also going to take any money that is driven by the Folgers commercial that pays before it. I don't know. I would never want to jump into it.
Exact kind of thing, though.
Yeah. Because it's the thing. I don't know. And I watched so much of it, and people are so mad at the movie, and I'm just like, basically, they just made a Jurassic Park movie, though. Like, why are you upset about it? Like, and if people were upset, like, this doesn't feel like a movie, it feels like a video game, that's a valid critique, right? Like, I understand that as a critique.
Yeah, but you know what? The guys over at Giant Bomb, which we never talked about it, but man, did that fall apart. But I grew up on the Giant Bomb cast when you want to talk about podcasting. But those guys used to have a saying all the time back when Jeff Gershman was running the show there that, like, you know, it's a miracle a video game ever hits up in front of us. We always have to kind of start from that point of understanding that, like, a movie being finished and being in front of our eyes is kind of a wondrous thing. Like the work that goes on to make those things, and like it's not, and that is not a moment where you then forgive it for all of its sins. You just, if you always start from there, then you kind of have that understanding and respect that, like, all right, there was work done to make this happen, right? And then, you know, you still see movies where you're just like, okay, it's a miracle this movie got made, but sometimes that shit shouldn't happen. Like the ways people were treated when in order to get this movie made, it wasn't cool, or like the end result was something that was just not worth the time put into it, that kind of thing. I think that's still worth saying, right? But you still need to acknowledge that somebody put their time into it, right? And that is where I think a lot of these people, like, you know, it comes across as very spoiled and very, very privileged, some of the shit that they pull on these movies, because they just like they can't seem to wrap their heads around the fact that, like, yep, people had to work, people wanted to work on this, and like they're just like they think that it is like on a weekend afternoon, people are on a whim getting together to make Jurassic Park and put it in front of us, and it's like, how dare they? I want them to put in real work, and it's like, fuck you, they did put in real work.
I mean, one of these people is like, I want to make movies. That's the ultimate goal of having this channel. And then my response is like, but you don't seem to have, like, the media literacy. You're like, I don't understand why this scene happened. It added nothing to the film. And I'm like, that was the scene that was supposed to give you an emotional connection to these characters. So, like, meaning nothing to you, I am not excited to see whatever film you're going to produce, because you don't think that, like, characters need some sort of, like, emotional connection for audience members. Like,
if I want to watch a movie made by an emotionless psychopath, I'll go watch The Shining again.
Yeah, that was clever, Sejohn. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, you're like, and people, and the media illiterate will say this is a character arc is something that I've heard in like multiple videos lately. And I'm like, it is a character arc. It's not a good character arc. You could think that it's weak motivations or things like that, but it doesn't change the fact that whoever wrote this meant this to be the journey this character went on. The fact that you can identify it doesn't mean that it's not a character arc. It means that the person who wrote it, that's what they called it. Just because you don't like somebody's character arc doesn't mean that like it's not what it is. It's just
I think it's a much more interesting conversation. You know, this is the academic in me coming.
Yeah, let's. I love academic.
It's a much more interesting conversation to acknowledge the fact that there is something there, right? Like for your example, there is a character arc, but here's why it didn't work. I think is a much better place to start from in terms of a conversation, in terms of that kind of dialogue that you're supposedly having with that movie and with the fans of that movie. When you make that kind of content, you're either trying to just swing your dick around, which is what 90% of it is, or there are people out there that do that kind of work that are trying to engage and talk about why movies are made in the ways that they're made, and like how did we get to this being the end product, and what does that mean about like what we want to see in the future when these movies get made again and stuff. Is like that is a much more fruitful conversation. And again, it starts from the idea that let's all agree that it's awesome that this thing was able to even just fucking exist for us to talk about this, right? Whatever deity you want to believe in, whatever like nonsense like technology you want to attribute this all to, like just at the end of the day, it is cool that movies get fucking made, and we love watching movies get made. And so then, you know, from there, what can we talk about how that process is not it didn't work for this movie? It's a much more lucrative, more fun conversation to have than what some of these guys want to have on YouTube.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons that, first of all, your whole, like, it takes a lot to make a movie. That's where my whole, it was a movie, not a sandwich comes from. Because sandwiches, I know that some work goes into making sandwiches, but a sandwich, at the most, it's like taking you 2 minutes to make, right?
I am a Subway artist, sir.
How long is it taking to make a sandwich? About 2 minutes. But I'm still an artist.
It's still a masterpiece.
Right? You don't even tessellate the fucking cheese, Subway. That made sense when it was $5 for a foot down, but it's $16 for a foot long sub. Tessellate the cheese for better cheese coverage. Jesus. You cut them into triangles, lay them side by each, not overlapping. Oh, wow. I didn't realize that still bothered me as much as it did. But
anyway,
one of the things I enjoy about this show, one of the reasons why our friendship has persisted and lasted and continued, and why this show continues, is the fact that you and I always try to find something to enjoy in even the worst theatrical experiences. Right? Because we understand that work goes into it, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't...
Well, it's not hard for me to look at a movie and think something's cool in it, even if I don't like it, right? And vice versa. I may love a movie, but there's also might be something... Like, so I've been rewatching Sinners a lot since it came out this week.
Of course.
Showing it to various groups and peoples, right? Loving the hell out of that movie. Still think probably the best movie experience I've had so far this year. All of that shit, right? Still think it drags. Thought it dragged from the first moment I saw it, and I still think it drags now. I think that there are moments of that movie where Coogler basically sits in like and wallows in his kind of world that he's created in a way that the movie itself I don't think benefits from, but at the same time I don't think that it is enough to detract from the movie in any way. But if somebody out there was gonna say to me, like, if I had to pull one thing out of my hat about that movie, it would be, yeah, I think that it's a little draggy at moments. That's fine. Or like we talked about with Minecraft today. I didn't love that movie, but I'll tell you what, like, I am not kidding. The visuals of that movie were really fun. Like, I really liked, especially on the piglins and like the main piglin there, Big Bertha, what's her name?
Oh, I don't. Moja.
Yeah,
maybe I think it's like a take,
which I think is which I believe is a swing at Mojang, right? Like the company that.
Yes.
Yeah, it like I think that movie had some really fun CGI in it, and like I think that's a cool thing about that movie that I would be very happy to watch it again to experience.
It's Malgosha. Her name's Malgosha. She
Malgosha.
does, yeah. So that's played by her. She's voiced by Topaz from Thor Ragnarok.
Nice.
So that's some fun stuff. Oh, she's got some Next Goal Wins. Oh, she's been in a lot of good things. And that's the thing, and that brings us full circle back to the Minecraft movie, which we block partied for this. I mean, the other thing is that I don't know. It's been weird being gone. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to get back to like doing things for the show because I kind of took a break. I'm not gonna lie. I just watched some things. I rewatched Blinded by the Light. Still probably one of the best films that I've seen in the last 10 years.
Nice.
And that was because of our Summer Nights, right? Like, I was reminded of some songs in that like might be good summer night songs, so I tracked down my copy, rewatched it, really enjoyed it. I'm doing some theater like surveying, sort of trying to figure it out because they've officially announced the 4K re-release of TMNT 1990 for this year.
Ooh.
Primarily, it was only available at AMC theaters, but this past week they showed this 30-minute trailer. IGN is hosting it. I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. But it's going to be at a bunch of stuff. It's going to be a Fathom event. But the theater that they're showing it at local is a little fucking gross screen. So I've been doing some research, and I found an AMC theater that is going to be laser projecting it, even though it's a freaking bring back, like, re-release of a film. And, like, nice. Yeah, that's how I'd like to see it. So I got tickets for it, but this week I plan on going to that theater to see a film in the same auditorium to see if the seats that I got are actually going to be any fucking good. Because, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can't tell. And that was, like, one of those, like, and this is the last thing I'm going to say this week, and then we can, if there's anything else you want to make sure we cover. But I called the movie theater to be like, hey, I'm trying to get tickets to go see a movie there next week. Can you tell me what's playing in Auditorium 13? And they're like, no, we can't give that information out over the phone. And I'm like, all right, but I literally want to buy a ticket. I understand that it's probably like if you tell me what's playing at 13, then I could figure out a way to sneak into that movie. I get it. You guys try to keep that stuff closely guarded now, while also trying to only pre-sell tickets. It's a very weird line you're trying to walk, the theater industry. I'm just going to be honest with you. But
that's an interesting idea, because I'm trying to think, when I buy tickets, a lot of the theaters out here also make seat selection an option.
Yeah.
They basically have to tell you what theater you're in order for you to select the seats, right? Like
it's really weird. And I thought, like, I went deep into it, and it doesn't tell you until you buy the ticket. Like, then it's like, all right, you're in this auditorium. So that's how I knew. Well, I'm like, I'm going to get...
At that point, they got your money, yeah.
Yeah, they have my money. It doesn't matter. So I'm like, all right, if I call on Monday... He's like, also, they don't let us know what movies are in each theater until the day of. I'm like, I'm going to call on Monday and I'm going to ask you because I want to see a movie there and I want to see what this auditorium is like. And I'm like, and if I end up not buying a ticket to that, can I just go into the auditorium when no movie is playing so I could just get a feel for it? Like, will that have counted? No, we can't do that for you. But if you call on the day, we'll have the slip of paper. We should be able to tell you what's playing in there. And I'm like, but it's not like you guys are switching to projectors around every day, right? Like,
well, if they're digital, but if they're doing digital projection, then it's as easy as them just moving the hard drive, or even just,
right.
Honestly, they probably just have one centralized like server / computer that they throw everything onto, and then they can project it in any theater they want. They can just they can direct it.
I would certainly hope that's how it works. I would certainly hope that all the projectors are just like connected together, and then you have your little hard.
There is something
like
to be said about
right?
separating them so that you have you have a failure point. You know what I mean? Like you if basically keeping all of the movies in one place means that if one thing goes down, it all goes down, right? You can kind of spread out, mitigate the disaster.
I mean, I'd love to know how modern projecting works because I knew how old projecting works. I used to do it. I used to do the splicing and the reels, and like I knew how to work an old school projector. And I am curious now.
When I went to go see what's the Pedro Pascal, Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans one there?
Masterminds? No, Materialists.
When I went to go see Materialists a couple weeks ago, our screening actually was pushed back by just a couple minutes, like 2 or 3 minutes, because the previous screening they had to start the movie over. After 10 minutes in, the sound just cut out. No reason. Sound just cut out. Speakers were fine. They went back and restarted the movie, and it didn't happen again. So no idea what really had happened. But they basically had to restart the movie about 10 minutes in because the sound just stopped.
Right. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, what I would think is that the movie studios now send out an encrypted hard drive, and the projectors that they use, you just plug that hard drive in, and it plays off the hard drive. Like, that's how I would do it, right? Like, I'd keep it as close to when it was film reels as possible. But also,
well, I think there's probably also timing locks, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, the movies can only be played for so many weeks before they need to. What they probably do now is now that I think about it, is they probably reach out for a key every time they start.
Yeah.
To make and if that key is no longer available, then you can't play that movie. Essentially, they basically brick that hard drive and tell you to send it back.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Or like it modifies, or it needs to connect to some centralized server to clear that it's working. That way they could update previews and things like that.
What we need to do to watch movies nowadays.
I mean, again, but this is all conjecture on our points. We do not know what this is. But it would make sense if they are connecting to a server every week with these hard drives, if they also update the previews. So like, oh, this used to have a preview for Moana 2 before it, but now Moana 2 is in the theater, so we'll update that with a kids movie that's coming out a little bit further down the line. Yeah. Like, one would hope that
think that
the technology would be used a little bit for evil in terms of marketing, like, because we have it. Yeah, like, yeah. I don't like.
The bigger concern is, are they post-editing the movie at all?
Yeah, patching is fucking gross.
We have seen like large stuff happen. Remember,
Cats?
What's the one where they edited out the dog's balls?
The movie that you saw. You actually went to go see it.
Yeah, the Will Arnett, the Will Arnett like weird buddy cop kids movie.
What the heck was the
where
name of
there
that
was a through line
movie?
of the dog getting his balls checked, and it basically was about like, well, when somebody touches your privates, just go to a happy place. And it was like, maybe you shouldn't be teaching kids that, huh?
I don't know. Maybe no. It's what the hell was that stupid movie
called?
When
a stranger grabs you, you just pretend everything's
that
okay.
everything's fine. No, kids, don't do that. Was that? Oh my god, how long ago was that movie? Because it was definitely Will Arnett, right? Magic School Bus Ride.
Yes,
Show Dogs.
Almost 100%.
2018's Show Dogs.
Show Dogs, right?
Oh my god, didn't it have another name too, also known as?
Maybe, probably.
Jeez. 2 scenes were cut upon the second week of its U.S. theatrical release, also applied to home release. Jesus. Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that, but it's a thing that they can do now. They can, if they want to, re-edit the movies. I don't know. Anything else you want to make sure we cover in this episode? It's been a weird one. It's been a fun one. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about what we've done.
I want to read the patch notes for James Cameron's re-release of Titanic.
What about Avatar? And how everybody thinks that there's a scene where they have sex with their tentacles touching, but that's only in the director's cut at home. Like, it became so ubiquitous, but it's not a thing that happens.
Yeah, which is the only version of that movie I've ever seen, because I only ever saw that movie once, and I thought I went to the theaters to see it, but I have been informed that was not in the theatrical
maybe they
release,
released the director's cut to theaters.
So
I have no idea. Like, it could be one of those ones
where
like
put an extended release out in theaters, maybe in like IMAX or something.
That's what I would have to believe is the only way that could have happened. I don't freaking know. I do not know. All right, last calls. Anything? We good to send this one over?
let's kick this one to the curb.
All right, let's kick this one over. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Say Report. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can join us in our Discord. Invitations to join are available wherever we are on social media, which as of this recording is Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. If that's too much for you, if you're not a Discord person, feel free to send an email to us directly. That's thesayreport@gmail.com. We can also give you an invitation to the Discord, or we can communicate like it's the early days of the internet, and you can send us an email and we can respond to you like strong bad. But the most important thing to remember is that if it's for me, Devon Decker, or him, Sejohn Sarowick, just put our name in the subject line so that we can distribute it appropriately, so that your hopes and desires only go to the face and eyes of the Say Reporter you want to have read them. Without any further ado, thanks for joining us on this weird one, returning back after a couple of excused absence episodes. We look forward to seeing you on the next one, and William, please bring us home. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devon Decker and Sejohn Sarowick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.